Hi, welcome to business. My name is Mrs. Lovell. I'm the head of business at Markham District High School. This presentation will provide an overview of the grade 12 courses offered by the business department for the 21-22 academic year. Please note that some activities, field trips, and assessments are subject to change. In grade 12, we have 4 courses. We have the Principles of Financial Accounting, Introduction to International Business, Business Leadership, and Canadian International Law. The first one, the Principles of Financial Accounting. The grade 11 accounting course is a prereq for this course. We look at accounting principles and practice such as GAAP and IFRS and the transition from generally accepted accounting principles to international financial reporting standards and why that happened. We also look at the accounting service for service in merchandising business. This was first introduced in grade 11. But now we expand on it because there are complexities in terms of, for example, in merchandising business. In grade 11, we assumed all inventory was bought at the same price. Well, in reality, that doesn't happen. We also look at the accounting practices for assets. In grade 11, we would have assumed what the assets were. Now we have to look at some costs and decide whether or not they are, in fact, assets. And we look at issues that businesses face when making decisions. We also understand the accounting for partnerships and corporations. Grade 11 focused predominantly on sole proprietorships. The accounting for partnerships and corporations are different. We also look at financial analysis. What does that data mean? How can we use that data? And then we look at financing methods, in terms of how will we raise the capital that we need to expand? Will we issue debt? So will we get a loan? Or will we issue security? And through debt, we can actually get a loan or we can issue bonds, 2 ways of acquiring money. We also look at current issues in accounting, such as fraud. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, there was a significant amount of accounting frauds. The rules changed, especially in the US. New regulations were put in place saying that, C-level suite like CEOs could go to jail and could face fines. They could actually go to jail for up to, I believe it was 20 years. The final culminating activity is students will analyze the financial performance of the company. Sometimes it could be one company, sometimes it could be 2 companies within the same industry, and to look to see, who's better positioned for the future. There is an exam, there wasn't one the past semester, but this course does actually, all the grade 12 courses do have exams, but there wasn't one the past semester. And the next one is international business. So students explore factors that encourage international trade in Canada and globally. We look at trade agreements and organizations, such as the USMCA, which was previously NAFTA. We also look at marketing challenges, a product that we use here in North America. It can't just be dumped into a foreign market. So we'll have to look at changes that need to be made. Culture plays a very significant part in international business and understanding that the cultures and that cultures don't transcend borders. That means the way we do business in North America is very different from the way they do business in Asia or in South America. We also look at trends. What are the current trends that are happening? One thing previously, international business was, and I can't say previously it was, but globalization was a huge focus. And we are a very global economy where we're interdependent on other countries for the productions of goods and services that we use. However, this recent pandemic has raised new concerns with respect to protectionism. And meaning, should we start producing those goods that are essential to our economy and to our people at home? For one example, PPE. PPE was in huge demand, and the pandemic, so those countries that had the production of the goods and services had access to that first. And we're seeing the same problem with the vaccine. So arguments in terms of protectionism have arisen again. The final culminating activity is an international marketing plan where students select a country of their choice to sell a product or service to. Next, we have business leadership. The course looks at theories that guide leadership and also leadership techniques. And we also look at what makes a successful leader. What are the determinants in terms of characteristics, traits, and styles? We look at human behavior and we look at group dynamics. How is it that some groups form and start performing very quickly, whereas other groups really struggle and can never get off the ground? We look at some challenges that management face. Some could be in terms of stress and others in terms of motivation. All our employees have different needs. And so, how do we motivate them? And how do we motivate them to maximize their own potential and empower them to want to do more? And we look at planning and controlling. So, strategies that are used by management. So, strategies are your overall objectives in terms of what is it the company's going to do, what direction we're going. And of course, things happen within our economy, such as COVID, that will require changes to strategies. We also look at ethics and social responsibility, which is a theme throughout all of our business courses. Back in the day, I'm going to say maybe 20, 30 years ago, management's objective was to maximize profit for shareholders, but we've evolved and we've come so much further. Now we're saying, okay, dumping that waste may not be illegal, but is it ethical? How will it impact our communities? How will it impact our investors and our employees? So we look at, what we need to do above and beyond just meeting those financial results. The final culminating activity is a leadership portfolio, which looks at where students look at articles, movies, cartoons, and interview a business professional and make the connections to the course. And finally, we have the grade 12 Canadian and International Law. The grade 11 law course is not a prerequisite for this one. What you'll learn about is international law, criminology, what causes crimes, labor law, employment, of course, that's very relevant for businesses, and the nature versus nurture argument. You may have heard about this before, and when you're kind of profiling somebody who maybe is a serial killer, and you say, were they born that way, or was it the social environment that they were in that made it that precipitated or maybe had contributed to the way they act? And the final culminating activity is a mock trial. So that's it for our courses. If you have any questions or you need any more information, please feel free to contact me. My name is Mrs. Lovell. Thanks and have a nice day.